Hello there, and then welcome to Hub Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. In this video, we are on the continuation of reflection. In our previous video, we looked at how to reflect on the x-axis, and these were the formulas we said we use. So first of all, if you want to reflect on the x-axis, all you need to do is maintain the x value. You see, so you maintain your x value, but then you negate the y value. And we also looked at how you can even do it even without the formula that is on the graph. This time around, we are looking at reflection on the y-axis, how to reflect on the y-axis. If you want to know the properties of reflection, in the previous video, we looked at all of that, and then you can visit that just for a review. So if you want to reflect on the y-axis, first of all, just take note that the y-axis can also be called the line x equals 0. So if you see either the y-axis or x equals 0, we are talking of the same thing. Now, if you have a point, let's say a point x, y, and you want to reflect it on the y-axis or on the line x equals 0, all we need to do is we negate the x value and maintain the y value, and that is all. That is how we reflect on the y-axis. Just negate the value of x and maintain the value of y, right? So you can even write it as this. They are all the same thing. So to see how this formula works, let's practice it on our graph sheet. So let's take a point A. The point A has coordinates 2, 2, 5, and we want to reflect it over the what? The y-axis. Now, as you can see here, my scale is 2 centimeters, is to what? 2 units. Let me locate this point over here. That is my 2, 5. So on my x-axis, I look for what? My 2. This is my 2. Then I move up 5 pieces. That is where we have this 5 here. So on 2, I move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now this here is going to be my A. So I label that as what? A with coordinates 2, 5. And we want to what? Reflect it on the y-axis. It means the y-axis becomes our mirror line. You see, and the formula says, what do we do? All we need to do is to negate the value of x. You see, so with this here, the reflection on our y-axis is going to be a negation of the value of x, that is negative 2, 5. We come here and then locate where the negative 2, 5 is. So these are negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have that over here. You see, so let me just write the coordinate there as well. So this is it over here, showing my what? A prime. That is the reflection of A on my y-axis being negative 2, 5. Basically, this is how we do that reflection. Now we are going to take a figure and then try and then reflect it on the y-axis. But before that, you remember in the previous one, I explained how to even do your reflections if you don't know the formula, or let's say you might have forgotten. So let's apply that here as well. This is where we have our object and we want to reflect it. So all you do is you take your ruler and then you measure the distance. You see, this is our mirror line. You see, so you are going to measure the distance of this point here away from your mirror line. Per my measurement here, I have what? 1 centimeters. You see, so 1 centimeter. Hence, all I need to do is to measure 1 centimeter on the opposite direction. You measure 1 centimeter on the opposite direction and locate the point. So this is where I have my point. You see, I'm putting my point over there, and that is going to be my A1 or the A prime, which has coordinates just as the previous one we did. So that is it. So now that we know how to reflect a point, let's take a plane figure. We have this question here. It says we should plot the triangle ABC with vertices A, 1, 2, and you have B and then C, and then we have to reflect it on the line x equals 0. Remember, we said that the line x equals 0 is just the y-axis. So let's look at how we'll solve this. Now, we already have these vertices here, you see. So let's quickly do the reflection by the formula here. Then we'll go to our graph and then just transfer everything. Now, we know the rule when we want to reflect on the line x equals 0. Whenever we have x, y as our coordinates, then our reflection is going to be what? The negation of the x value whilst we maintain the y value. So it simply means that our A, which has coordinates 1, 2, is then going to give us what? A prime, which has coordinate -1, 2. You see, you are just following the rule. All it says is negate the x value, and that is it. Our B, which has coordinates 3, 5, is then going to give us B1 with coordinates -3, 5. You see, then our C, which also had coordinates 4, 1, will then give us what? C1 with coordinate -4, 1. We are reflecting on the line x equals 0. So this are what we have here, and we need to go to our graph to plot them out. So since we have already done all our calculation, we come here and then plot. Now A's coordinate was 1, 2. So on x, I look for my 1. You see, this is a 1 here, and I move upwards toward 2. Let me zoom this in so you see what I'm doing. Okay, so I do hope you see clearly now. So A is what? 1, 2. So on X, we look for our 1, then we move upwards 2 pieces. So this is where we have our A. Let me finish plotting and then I do the label. Then B, we have 3, 5. So we move to 3 and then move upwards 5. This is where we have our B. And then finally, we have C being 4, 1. So 4 and then 1. You see, then you just put your labels down nicely as you have seen over here. Now, we were told that it's a triangle. So since you are done plotting, all you do is you join the points with your ruler. You do that nicely. Then now we come to where we want to do the reflection. So if you remember per our calculations, these were the values we had. So we'll be plotting all of this as well. All right. So then I come here and then for my A prime, it gives me -1, 2. So this is my -1, 2. This is the point I have over here. And see, it's just a reflection of A using the counting the boxes. You have just one box away from your mirror line. Same applies over here, one away from the mirror line. Then our B1, that is -3, 5. So -3, 5. This is the point over here as your B1. And then finally our C1, whose coordinate is -4, 1. So -4, 1. This is it over here. So let's just do our labels, or let me just join them first of all to get my triangle. After which I then label as you see over here. So basically, this is how we reflect on the line y equals 0, which is also called the y-axis. I do hope you have understood everything at this point. It is just like the reflection on the x-axis, but this time around, we rather negate the x value. I would always emphasize that the best way to learn these is by practicing. So if there's any misunderstanding or if there's something you don't understand at this point, I would advise you go back, take your time and practice along so you understand the concept and then how to use the formulas and even how to use the ruler as well. I'll leave an exercise you can try on your own. So the question says you have to reflect the quadrilateral DEFG with vertices as you see over here. You can try this out and then let me know in the comment section if you have any issue of concern. This is how Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. And if it is your first time, you can always choose to subscribe so that anytime I release maths related videos, you'll be notified to learn along. Happy learning and then stay blessed. Bye.